Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Movesets video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about the new Ultra Beast Xurkitree. So let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, ability, and stats. So to start things off, Xurkitree is a new electric-type Pokemon introduced into Pokemon Sun and Moon, and being one of the Ultra Beasts, gives it access to the unique Beast Boost ability, which upon KOing an opponent, will boost the stat that this Pokemon has by one stage that has the highest numerical value. But for its stats, this Pokemon has some pretty slightly above average defenses, with base 83 HP, 71 defense, and 71 special defense, effectively making this Pokemon not particularly frail, but not particularly bulky either. But for its offensive stats, this Pokemon has a base 89 physical attack and some interesting physical attacking moves that it gets access to. But the more important attack to make note of is its special attack, which is a base 173 stat, which is one of the highest special attacks in the entire Pokemon series, thus making this Pokemon ridiculously powerful when using special moves. Also, because its special attack is so astronomically higher than the rest of its stats, no matter what you do to this Pokemon, Beast Boost will always boost its special attack, so do keep that in mind when using it. But lastly, this Pokemon has a base 83 speed stat, which is pretty good in and of itself, and can make this Pokemon a very powerful, especially offensive threat. So with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to begin by giving Xurkitree either a timid nature to boost its speed but lower its physical attack, or a modest nature to boost its special attack but lower its physical attack. And for the EVs, going with a specially offensive EV spread of 252 special attack EVs, 4 special defense EVs, and 252 speed EVs to max out both its special attack and its speed stat. As for the item, we're either going to go with Choice Specs to boost your special attack, Choice Scarf to boost your speed, a Life Orb to also boost your attack power while not locking you into a move like the Choice items do, but at the cost of losing 10% of your health every time you damage your opponent, an Expert Belt to boost the power of super effective moves, an Assault Vest to boost this Pokemon's special defense further, Leftovers to allow it to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, an Air Balloon to allow this Pokemon to levitate above the battlefield until the Air Balloon pops, thus making it immune to ground-type attacks that would normally hit it super effectively, or going with the Z Crystal to allow this Pokemon to have a super powerful move of one type that corresponds to the Z Crystal that it's holding at one point in the battle. But for the moves, the first thing that we're going to go with on this set is either going to be Thunderbolt or Volt Switch to be your main stab electric attack. Thunderbolt obviously being the more powerful option, whereas Volt Switch is a little bit weaker and switches you in and out of the battlefield when making use of this. And in going with Volt Switch, we kind of forego a stronger electric type move, but at the same time we offer ourselves a little bit more of coverage by not having to run another electric type attack later on the set. But for your second attack, you're going to either want to go with Energy Ball or Hidden Power Ice, mainly to allow this Pokemon a reliable way to deal with opposing ground types that are going to be immune to your electric type moves. As for your third move slot, we can again include Hidden Power Ice here, but we can also go with Signal Beam to allow this Pokemon a little bit of an easier time dealing with opposing grass-type Pokemon. Obviously, Hidden Power Ice does hit them super effectively as well, but Signal Beam hits them a little bit harder. Or we can go with Dazzling Gleam to allow this Pokemon to just have some really interesting additional type coverage, allowing it to hit fighting types and also dark types super effectively. As for your last move though, we can either go with Signal Beam or Dazzling Gleam here, again for reasons stated above, or if you want to run 2 electric type moves going with the stronger Thunderbolt, we can go then with Volt Switch here to allow this Pokemon to still retain that powerful special Thunderbolt while also allowing it that utility of being able to switch in and out of the battle with Volt Switch. As for the next couple movesets, we're going to be turning Xurkitree into a powerful boosting attacker. So we're going to start this moveset off, again with the same nature options in Timid or Modest, and the same EV spread of 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed EVs. But this time the item that we're going to go with is going to be Water EMZ, which is going to be used in combination with the first move on the set, Rain Dance, to not only set up rain on the battlefield, but also give Xurkitree a +1 speed boost, thus making it even more threatening of an attacker. And with the rain up on the battlefield, we're then going to make use of Thunder to be our main stab special electric type attack, which is significantly more powerful than Thunderbolt and also has a 30% chance to paralyze your opponents. In addition, we're then going to run Hidden Power Water to take advantage of the rain, or run Hidden Power Ice to give you that great ice electric type combination that is extremely sought after due to its fantastic neutral coverage. Finally, we're going to run an additional coverage option in the form of Energy Ball, Signal Beam, or Dazzling Gleam, or give this Pokemon a secondary boosting option in running Tail Glow in this last move slot to allow it to boost its special attack by 3 stages, thus making it incredibly powerful, and with the speed boost from Rain Dance with Water EMZ, very fast and difficult to take out. On the other hand, we can also run a very similar moveset to this Pokemon while also taking advantage of the Sun. So here, everything nature and EV related is going to stay exactly the same, but for the item, this time we're going to be going with Fear EMZ to work in combination with the first move on the set, which is Sunny Day, to not only set up Sun on the battlefield, but also with Fear EMZ give you a +1 speed boost to do pretty much the same thing that Rain Dance did on the previous set. But with this, we're then going to go with Thunderbolt to be your main stab electric move, and then going with the interesting Solar Beam option that this Pokemon has access to, which under the effects of Sun, make it so that you do not have a charge turn for Solar Beam and have access to just a very, very powerful special grass type attack. Finally, for the last move on the set, we can choose to take advantage of the Sun further by running Hidden Power Fire, which will obviously be boosted with the Sun on the battlefield, or, like before, making use of the Tail Glow move to allow Xurkitree to boost its special attack by 3 stages, making it immensely powerful. Finally, for this last fully offensive boosting set for Xurkitree, we're going to run Psyche EMZ as our item to work in combination with the first move, Hypnosis, which in addition to having a chance to put your opponent to sleep, will provide you with a +1 speed boost, similar to how Rain Dance and Sunny Day gave us that effect on the previous movesets. However, the advantage of being able to put something to sleep does set this set apart from the previous two. But again, our main stab electric move is going to be Thunderbolt here, and then we're going to want a coverage move this time in the form of either Hidden Power Ice, Hidden Power Fire, Hidden Power Ground, or Dazzling Gleam, basically giving this Pokemon access to a move that will help its sweeping potential. Also important to note, which I failed to mention earlier, Dazzling Gleam being a Fairy type move will also give you a super effective move against Dragon type Pokemon, in addition to the Fighting types and Dark types that I previously mentioned. But for the last move on the set, we can run an additional type coverage move in the form of Dazzling Gleam or Energy Ball if we went with a Hidden Power Fire in the previous move slot, or going with Tail Glow on this set as well, like in the previous two sets, but to much greater effect because of the fact that we have the ability to put our opponents to sleep. So setting up a Tail Glow becomes significantly easier, as your opponent will either have to switch out to counter what Xurkitree has, or will have to just stay in and be asleep for that turn that you set up the Tail Glow. Now do keep in mind though, in running this you are significantly limiting your type coverage, as you will now only have access to Thunderbolt and then a coverage option. However, it still in itself can be very effective if you're able to use Xurkitree in a way that allows you to basically counter the things that would be able to deal with the lack of type coverage on this particular set when using Tail Glow. So a little bit more team building does go into play here when making use of this last move. But as for a more bulky boosting set, we're going to start this one off by giving Xurkitree either a Bold Nature to increase its physical defense but lower its physical attack, and then going with a little bit of a bulkier EV spread of 252 HP EVs, 180 defense EVs to give you a significant investment into that, and then running 76 speed EVs to allow Xurkitree to outspeed defensive Landorus T. But for the item on the set, since we're running this a little bit more bulky, we're going to be going with Leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover HP at the end of every turn. But for this moveset, our boosting move of choice is going to be Calm Mind, which will allow us to boost our special attack and our special defense by 1 stage, making this Pokemon even more bulky and more powerful, the more you get to set up. Then we're going to be going with Thunderbolt to again be our main stab electric type special attack, and for the second move slot, either going with Energy Ball or Hidden Power Ice to allow this Pokemon to have a great type coverage move against opposing ground types that would be immune to your Thunderbolt. Finally, if we want to run some additional type coverage, we could go with Energy Ball in the third move slot and then run Hidden Power Ice here, or we could make our setup a little bit easier and go with Substitute in this last move slot to allow Xurkitree to get behind a protective barrier to shield it from attacks and statuses while it attempts to set up and make use of its boosted defenses as a result of Calm Minding and your increased defense investment, thus making your substitutes more difficult for your opponents to break. As for this last moveset, we're going to be utilizing a couple of other moves that Xurkitree has access to make it into a pretty decent special defensive wall. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Calm Nature to boost its special defense but lower its physical attack, and then going with an EV spread of 252 HP EVs, 180 special defense EVs, and then 76 speed EVs to again allow you to outspeed the defensive Landorus T. And as for the item on this set, just like the previous one, because we're going to be running this Pokemon a little bit more bulky, we're going to be going with Leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover HP at the end of every turn. But for the first move on this set, we're going to be going with Thunder Wave to allow Xurkitree a way to reliably paralyze opponents, crippling their speed and making it so that they occasionally do not attack, which is a fantastic move for allowing this Pokemon to be matched up against its opponents a little bit easier, as well as allowing its teammates to take advantage of your opponent's potential paralysis and reduced speed stat. In addition, then we're going to be running Volt Switch to be your main stab electric type move on this set, which will be switching you out of battle every time you make use of it, and then running an additional type coverage option like on many of the previous sets in the form of Energy Ball or Hidden Power Ice for the coverage that they provide. Finally, for the last move on the set, we're going to be making use of Eerie Impulse, which is a move that in itself doesn't get a ton of play, but is very effective in allowing this Pokemon to take special hits really well, because it lowers your opponent's special attack by 2 stages every time you go for it, which in turn can allow Xurkitree and its teammates to take special hits incredibly well from its opposing teammates that may happen to be special attackers. And this in and of itself makes this set very unique and allows it to have this more supportive role on the battlefield. Also keeping in mind though that even on these more defensive movesets, this Pokemon still has a ridiculously high special attack to make use of, and even without investment is still one of the highest special attacks in the game. But with that everybody, that is it for this video, so I wanted to thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.